Howdy everybody, old Gare out here at the fishing shack. A little nippy out here today, but hey, it's just about the middle of December. Huh? How about that? Hey, we want to thank all you viewers last week. My golly, here we are about the middle of December. We had thousands of viewers. We want to thank everybody on YouTube and all the viewers on Facebook. My gosh, God bless you. Good show for you today. We're going to start the show after a quick little break with a monster crappie caught out at Truman the other day. Wow, it was a monster, nearly 3 3/4 pounds. We'll be talking about this. We have a good photo. That's going to be our photo of the week. And then we have some good reports, good crappie reports from Lake the Ozarks. Truman can be excellent. Good reports at Pomme de Terre, Stockton. Gosh, a lot of crappie being caught in the Ozarks right now. And we have a pretty fair bass report from out at Bull Shoals and Table Rock. First of all, I want to thank all the people that put up with Carla and I at the Kimberlin City Christmas parade the other day. Look at this photo of Carla and I. This is our hopped up golf cart, the Fishing Chums golf cart. We had that thing hopping and a bopping the other day during that parade. Thank you, Carla, and thank you all the hundreds of people out there at that parade. All right, we're going to be back with that monster crappie. Let's go fishing.
Fish and Chums!
Well, it's a little nippy. It's going to be a 50-50 weekend this weekend. We're talking about decent weather on Saturday, and maybe only around 50, but I think it's going to be okay. Sunday, that front coming in, it may be a little rough, but what do I know? I'm no weatherman. All right, let's go to the photo of the week. Mark Wilson, Clinton, Missouri. Tip of the hat, God bless you, a veteran, and love to take your son fishing. Alex, you were out the other day in the Bucksaw area, and look at this monster crappie. It went nearly 3 3/4 pounds. Officially, they weighed it at Bucksaw. It went 3 pounds, 0.68. That's a big crappie. And you know what Mark did? Hey, he took some pictures and released it back to the water so somebody else could catch and release that fish someday. And they caught several fish out around the Bucksaw area. And Mark Wilson, God bless you. Boy, you and your son Alex, good going. In fact, I have Alex's photo at the end of the program rolling. So good photo. We're going back to Truman here in just a few minutes. Okay, let's start out at Beaver Lake. It's water temperature out there this morning was 52 degrees. And Jim Nunley and Wade Reed was out the other day to look at these nice crappie they caught. You bet Beaver has some crappie action. Not many people fishing for them right now, but you can get into them. Some people have been going back about halfway back in the creek arms, finding some good colored water, using jigs or minnows or tight lining minnows or jigging minnows and picking up some nice fish. Some people are fishing the docks out there as well. But Jim and Wade, good going. Nice mess of fish, that's for sure, out at Beaver. Some of the guys are going out striper fishing this last few days. They're working for them, but they are picking up some nice stripers out at Beaver as well. They've been going on those long points, and some people are using live bait, but a few nice stripers have been caught. In fact, we have a few of them that's going to be photos featured at the end of the program, so don't go anywhere. And they've been having some fair bass fishing, and the catfishing's been fairly good out at Beaver, up in the creek and river arms on cut shad. Let's go out to Table Rock. That water temperature this morning was 51 degrees. And not a lot of people fishing, but the old boys have been going out there, have been picking up some fish on a variety of ways. My golly, you can still use the Ned rig. I know you're getting tired of me saying this, but I'm telling you, the Ned rig is the go-to bait when it's a little bit tough. And you can start on those long gravel points, secondary points maybe, get down around 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 feet of water. Use that Ned rig when it's slow. And if that sun comes out, gets a little bright, keep going out on those long runs, those long points, and get deep. May have to go to a drop shot. Other people are getting some fish on spoons and grubs. So try Table Rock this weekend, those points, secondary points. And on windy days, if you find some points with a lot of wind blowing up on them, don't be afraid to throw some crankbaits out there, the wiggle wart, and they've been picking up some fish, slow rolling spinnerbaits at time as well. A few crappie have been caught at the rock and around some of the docks with brush and some of the brush piles and some of the pole timber, straight line and minnows or little 32nd ounce jigs. Might catch yourself some crappie out there this weekend as well. Out of Lake Taneycomo, by the way, I think I did say table rock water temperature was 51 this morning. Out of Taneycomo, the water temperature is 52 degrees out there. They've been running some water. But if you just want to go out and have some fun and catch trout, there's a lot of trout being caught at Taneycomo right now. A little bit of a drift. You can go to light line, 2 4-pound test line, throw some jigs out there. White, there's a few shad coming through. White has been good, 16th. If it's a little windy, a little drifty, go to an 1/8 ounce, but I'd go to the 16th or even a 32nd ounce. Brown has been good as well. Get yourself a brown jig, 32nd or 64th ounce. A little bit of chartreuse on it. Ooh, I love to throw that with 2-pound test this time of the year and slow roll it in. Other people have been using the Berkeley trout worm. You know that trout worm comes in, that package, maybe about 3 or 4 inches long. Pink is the color, and they're using a strike indicator or a little float. Experiment on your depth. Start off around 4 or 5 feet of water. Maybe you have to go to 8 or 10 feet. But they've been picking up some fish on that Berkeley power worm in the pink. Other people are still picking up some fish, drifting night crawlers out there. So Taneycomo, they've been picking up some nice fish. I like to fish at Taneycomo this time of the year from Monkey Island all the way past the bridges up into the landing area. A lot of fish there right now. Let's go out to Bull Shoals. A tip of the hat to Dallas Swafford. My gosh, recently you was out at Bull Shoals, and look at this yellow perch that Dallas caught. Now that's a big yellow perch, that's for sure. And the yellow perch is actually a northern fish. I've caught tons of them up in Minnesota and Wisconsin and Canada. And I don't know, I'm going to do a story on this, how they got into Bull Shoals. The story is that some fishermen went up there and kept a whole bunch of them live and brought them back from Canada or up north somewhere and released them into Bull Shoals many years ago, and they've just flourished. And I've caught a lot of them in Bull Shoals, but I'd like to find out the real story on this. But anyway, they're in Bull Shoals and they're catching them. Good going, Dallas. That's a big one, that's for sure. Okay, now if the wind's blowing out at Bull Shoals this weekend, which it could be, go to the points and secondary points. Use your rock crawlers, your wiggle warts, maybe slow roll a spinnerbait. And if it's a little quiet, go back off those points and just look with your locator and find some shad activity, find your fish, and you may have to go down, 25, 35, 40 feet of water. Drop shot may work. Some spoons have been picking up some fish at Bull Shoals, some grubs, and other people are going back into the creek arms about halfway back looking for schools of shad and picking up some fish. So Bull Shoals, I tell you, not many people fishing out there, but you can catch some nice ones this time of the year at Bull. By the way, a few crappie have been caught at Bull Shoals this week for the few people who's been fishing around some of the docks with brush and around the brush piles, 15 to 25 feet of water, straight line and minnows, kind of medium-sized minnows, and also 32nd or 16th ounce jigs. Ooh, try that. Boy, I've had some good reports of a lot of 12 to 14-inch crappie being caught out there. Not maybe great numbers, but nice-sized fish at Bull Shoals. Let's go out to Stockton. The water temperature was 46 degrees out there this morning. A few days ago, my buddy Jeff Deckard was out the other day. Look at this nice crappie. Wow, look at this beautiful crappie that Jeff caught. And that wasn't the only one he caught. Look at this whole table full of beautiful crappie out at Stockton. Jeff, I think he could catch fish out of his kitchen sink. I'm telling you, he is a crappie fisherman, that's for sure. And some real nice fish being caught out at Stockton. Been going up in the river arms and also back in some of the big coves, the brush piles, standing timber, 15, 25 feet of water on jigs or minnows. Some people are tight lining minnows. There's been a lot of crappie caught this week out at Stockton. A few walleye, that's what I want to say. A few walleye have been caught at Stockton as well on the points and secondary points. Just get your good locator out there and kind of cruise those points, secondary points, and see if you can see any activity anywhere from 12, 15, 20, 25 feet of water. A little road runner, I understand, with a half a night crawler working it. Other people are using jig and night crawlers, just bouncing it kind of with your trolling motor if you don't have no wind back and forth, and catching a few walleye out at Stockton. Some nice crappie. Look at Jeff. My golly, they really caught some nice fish out there this week. Okay, Pomme de Terre, love Pomme, and it is 47 degrees, surface temperature wise out there. Albert Alexander was out the other day at Pomme, and look at this mess, a fence full of crappie. That's all I can say. And wow, what a nice mess of fish caught out at Pomme de Terre. And they've been catching some fish on a variety of ways. Some people have been going up in the river arms, kind of like Stockton. They're fishing the brush piles out on the main lake. And the lower 1/3 I heard has been real good. And around some of the docks, kind of just get out there and look for them. But I know at times I've heard they've been what they call on fire. And so that means a lot of fish are being caught. And that's at Pomme de Terre. You might see some birds out there too working, and if you do on a windy point or windy banks, there might be a bunch of white bass under them. So get out there and check this out. And I heard of a big old muskie caught out there the other day. A big, I'm talking big muskie caught. So gosh, Pomme sounds good for the upcoming weekend. A few cats have been caught at Pomme as well on cut shad. Let's go out to Truman Lake. The water temperature out there this morning was 43 degrees. Nick Schroeder was out the other day cat fishing. Hey, look at this. Using cut shad, cut bait, I understand. Nice going, Nick. Good boy. That's a nice one. And speaking of cats, my buddy Jordan Lear was out the other day. Look at this cat he caught. Good going. And speaking of Jordan Lear, he'd been crappie, kind of mixing it up, cat fishing, crappie fishing. He was out just a few days ago and caught this beautiful crappie. Look at that. Jordan Lear, my buddy. And they're fishing. Really, the crappie are going into their winter patterns. They're at the lower 1/3 of the lake for the most part. Not all part, because Mark Wilson was down around Bucksaw the other day and picked up that giant crappie with several others. But for the most part, they're in the winter pattern at the lower 1/3 of the lake, fishing the bluffs, the bluff pockets, and also the bluff points. And use your good electronics, find those schools of shad, crappie, and getting down there and tight lining minnows, or also jigging minnows, or pitching jigs and swimming it with the swim bait, little crappie swim bait, and they're catching some nice crappie out at Truman. Some people are still picking up some fish throughout some of the flats out there as well, around some of the cedar trees and the pole timber. Don't overlook this, but they're really getting into that winter pattern out at Truman right now. 43 degrees out there this morning. Josh and Terry was out the other day, out at Lake of the Ozarks. My golly, look at this whole pickup full. Lake of the Ozarks. And that water temperature out there this morning was 48 degrees. They've been catching crappie. Some people are pitching small jigs up around the docks, what they call shooting jigs up around the docks, picking up fish. Other people are tight lining around the docks, picking up crappie. Some people are still out on the points and main lake points, drop shotting minnows and picking up some crappie as well. But I tell you what, that dock fishing sounds real good at Lake of the Ozarks. Good going, Josh and Terry. And they've been picking up some fair bass out there. Windy points, you might want to try, like some of the other lakes, the crankbaits, the wiggle warts, and they've been using a little bit of a swim bait out there, I understand. And there's a tiny jerk bait bite going on. That's going to be coming on strong before you know it. Again, that water temperature was 48 degrees out there this morning. Okay, out at Norfolk, the water temperature was 52 degrees this morning, and they're picking up some nice fish. They're picking up some nice fish out at Norfolk. The same story as the last 3 weeks, about halfway back in the creek arms. They're using electronics, going over the brush piles, finding brush down around 15 to 25, 30 feet of water, using small spoons, or also jigging minnows or tight lining minnows, catching some real nice crappie at Norfolk. Once in a while, a big crappie, a striper can be caught at the end of the creek arms, and they're pushing shad back there in about 35, 45, 55 feet of water on spoons. Maybe you might catch a striper. And so Norfolk looks good, especially for crappie this upcoming weekend. Okay, I want to say hey to Mike Kidd. He and his buddies have really been catching a lot of trout this week. He was out at Bennett Springs the other day with his two buddies and picked up a nice fish, several fish. In fact, I have their photos coming up in a minute. But Mike was out at the White River, on the White River yesterday. Look at this nice trout. And they caught a bunch of them out there. So the trout fishing below the dam at Bull Shoals on the Carter is real good right now. A lot of trout being caught. Good going, Mike. You've been working those trout over Bennett Springs and the White River this last few days. Well, we want to thank you very much for being with us today here on Fishing Chums. And I do want to thank everybody that's been watching the program. Be sure to like and share. We really appreciate that. And for you folks that are watching over on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Push that button, subscribe, and that way you'll never miss a show. You'll always be notified when it's coming on. And thank you all the thousands of viewers on Facebook. God bless you. A lot of viewers on Facebook. And by the way, if you'd like to send us any photos, I was just shocked this week how many photos we received, because generally around the middle of December things have really slowed down. But boy, keep sending those photos in. A lot of people really caught some fish this last few days here in the Ozarks. But anyway, go to our email if you have any questions or send us photos. Hey, email us at fishingchums@gmail.com. Well, we have some great photos coming your way. It's going to be a decent day. Bundle up and get out Saturday. Might be a little rough on Sunday, but who knows. God bless you all. See you next week right here on Fishing Chums. Go get bit. Kathy, roll those photos.